girls around the world. It is once again time for the WADcast. I am Josh, hosted by the guy that can't find anything with sleeves, Brandon.
I have things with sleeves. It's just hot. It's California.
Sure. You might have
You
noticed
see how
a
the
little...
sun is. You see how the sun is back here and everything else. You don't have that right now.
No, it's dark, very dark. The sun's gone, but it's still hot as something that's really hot.
Fran Drescher's laughter.
No, I was gonna say you in that tank top.
Oh yeah. Me with a straight up like surfer look going on right now. Look like I just got done begging for money in Venice Beach.
Didn't you?
I wish. I just got done sleeping.
Well, I don't know if you were paying attention, but for those of you watching, check this. Not just Facebook Live, not just YouTube, but also Twitch. We are broadcasting to 3 platforms at once, and we have an opening title sequence.
Is that where all the big money went?
Yes, that's exactly where it went.
It looks good. I'm just messing with you.
Well, I know. That's why I was like, yeah. But in case you're wondering what you're watching, even though there's titles everywhere, there's also a little something like that. What?
The number?
In the top right-hand corner is the episode number. The bottom left-hand corner is the logo for the show. So, at this point, we've arrived, baby.
So does this mean I have to tone back my my swearing more? Since now we're doing like a big boy program?
No. Just same rules as always. Keep it PG-13, 1 F-bomb per episode. Unless you don't really feel like it, and then what else can I do?
I got you. Okay. Good.
I don't like that look on your face that's like, oh.
Well, it's because I swear so much, and now that we're on Twitch, and we have another group of people that are going to become familiar with us. For those new listeners, I am extremely foul-mouthed, very foul-mouthed, to the point where I don't realize I'm swearing sometimes. Most times, I don't realize I'm swearing. It just rolls off my tongue like a fine silk. It's it's bad. So, and if I try to stop swearing, I just swear more.
These are all true statements.
Oh God! Last time I was in church, last time I was at a church and I said the F word. I tried to catch myself. I was like, "Fuck, shit, damn, shit, no." Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, God, wait.
Wait, that one works. That one works.
And I used my one F-bomb in that example, so no more of those for me tonight. I know.
Just threw it away.
Worth it for the story. That's okay.
And, sometimes stories can finish that however you want. So, what have you been up to this week, Brandon?
Working, sleeping, eating, pooping, showering. Not shaving. I haven't done that in a few days. But also trying to get everything done with our project. We've entered a few of our things into a few festivals and contests. And that's really about it, buddy. Yeah. Getting ready to go to a baseball game tomorrow. I'm so not excited for that one.
Who's playing?
I hate baseball. The Angels and some other team. I don't know. I don't even know who's playing. I'm going because there's a $20 voucher for food, and I'm not driving. I just kind of got invited to go, so
you can buy a hot dog, essentially.
Yeah, so I can buy a hot dog. Like, I got $20. I want a hot dog. Oh, I have no money.
That'll get you half a hot dog.
Also, as you can see, I got a little thing right there from playing Mortal Kombat with my dog. That's been my week. What about you?
You know what? I I can't really say I've been doing a ton. I've been really busy. Like you said, we've entered some projects into some competitions, and I've learned that when you do this and then you press the button that's like, hey, tweet it out, let everybody know that you entered this competition. The people that really love seeing that are other competitions. And they're like,
oh, yeah.
Hey, buddy, we see you entered a contest. You wanna enter ours too? Like, not really.
I actually meant to ask you if, because I put both of our names on the Bad Agent short. I didn't know if you did that with the web series when you entered, because if something comes of it, if it gets up there and wins anything, you don't live in Hollywood to attend the competition.
Oh, I just put my name because I was the only one that deserves any credit.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. But the thing is,
hold on. I'm joking. I put your name on there, and I put Brian's name on there too.
Okay, good.
His work is present via the written word, and he deserves his credit for the contributions to what. Oh,
absolutely. No. Brian, that whole first season that we wrote for the and I know we're not really getting into it with what we're doing yet, but that it's basically like I'll say this much. I think we've mentioned it before. It is a one-season web series. With that being the case, our co-writer, Brian, is actually he jumped in and did a lot to help out with it.
Yeah.
So without his additional work and his views on things, because he actually there's a lot of things he did to help shape the direction of the series. So for that, it was a lot of fun working with him too. He's actually hysterical. He's a really funny guy, great writer. So, but yeah, no, I would absolutely believe that his name should be on the project as well.
Good, because I already did that, but he gave us some homework, and I gotta say it's like the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, like these bios about ourselves, like I read yours. I'm like, can I just copy and paste?
I was gonna reach out to you yesterday and say, can I copy yours?
This is why I was a C student in high school and in college. So
it's like, we're writers. We know the subject material better than anybody on the planet. It's us. So how come we have a hard time writing about us?
Well, it's like I think with me it's more of a whole. I don't talk about myself that much. There are some people I make fun of myself, but as far as being very serious about me, I don't do it. I know that there are people that are so vain that just getting them to talk about themselves, they love to do it, and they will never shut up. And I guarantee their biographies would be 5 pages long.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'll spin a yarn, if it comes up in conversation. But it's like a Kevin Smith-esque, storytelling hour where I'm just rambling and rambling. Well, not that he rambles, but you get what I'm saying. That it's kind of a time and moment kind of thing where a story will pop up, and that reminds me of the one time. And
absolutely.
I'll just, kind of go on about that, expand, and if needed, I'll take the comic book approach, and have the little boxes up in the corner where they're see issue, I'll break off into a tangent and but to hear the rest of the first story, you should probably hear some of this story, and then next thing I know, an hour goes by and I'm starting another podcast. But when it comes to writing down in kind of a short form, who are you? I was completely stumped because I sat there and I had, all right, okay, let's start off with Joshua Chitty is, and then I stared at the screen, and then I stared at the screen, and then I stared at the screen, and then I said, an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would just replace it with a bunch of things like that.
1 second, I've got to yell at a dog that's not my dog to yell at. Hercules, what's the matter, buddy? It's okay, they're gone. Sorry, the pit bull next door.
It's all good.
Indiana Jones. He's my dog's BFF, so.
Your dog's dog?
Yeah. No, actually, my dog is his dog. My dog he talks a big game. Like if Hercules pops his head up over this fence over here to look at Indy, Indy will start barking at him and everything else. But once Indiana's over there in the yard to play with him on one of their little, play date things, Indiana just lays down and shows his belly. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So anyway, that was our introduction, everybody. What's the show about? Because it's got to be a short show tonight. I've got to be at work, and I've got to be out of here by 8. So really, like 7:50, I've probably got to call it with this. So this is your idea this week. So I'll let you discuss what this show is all about.
Well, it's a good thing it's a very easy show to get into and, break down really quickly. Because tonight we're talking about the lawsuit that Scarlett Johansson is currently putting against the House of Mouse, Disney, and what it might mean to the future of, say, contract negotiations and whatnot in the future. So let's start with a little backstory, I suppose. Sound good? I think so.
Go for it.
A while back, I don't know if you've heard of this thing, movies. Have you heard of movies?
No, what are they?
They're moving pictures where people do stuff and often make believe that they're somebody else.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. Like, I just thought, like, when we do our writing stuff, I thought that we were just writing to write out, like, just talk out our buttholes, basically, for, like, 100 to 120 pages. I didn't know we were actually writing stuff that people, would read.
Oh yeah, that's
exactly definitely
what
news to me.
Use your skills for.
Oh, okay.
So these moving pictures, they make money at the box office, and the people that make these movies tend to want to get paid for the work that they do.
Yes.
And there are many ways payment takes form.
Yep.
Cash, straight up cash. This is what you get for doing this. But sometimes a talent will have other options added to their contracts. Stuff on the back end, whether it's, part of the box office, producer credits to get a little bit extra money, whatever the case may be. In this particular instance, there was an agreement that Black Widow, the movie starring Scarlett Johansson, would be put in theaters exclusively, as was the tradition at the time. But this thing called COVID came about and put all of those plans on hold. In fact, it pushed back the release date of this movie 3 times.
Yep.
So
because it was supposed to come out in 2020, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So.
And it didn't. The issue at hand here is Scarlett Johansson is claiming that Disney was... How would you put it?
Not faithful to their agreement.
Not faithful to their agreement about making it an exclusive in the theaters, because of box office receipts, which would net her, bigger profits. But by simultaneously releasing it on Disney Plus for an extra $30, I might add, that, again, is sort of a way for, at least from what I've read, the Disney Corporation to make more money while having to pay her less.
Yeah. And see, there's one thing that I had to explain to people. When they made this movie, when she signed her contracts, Disney Plus was not, at that time, a big thing. That's really bad lighting, isn't it? God, it's so much nicer here. Disney Plus at the time was not. It was. I mean, it's not like it wasn't around, but it wasn't what it is right now. And so when everything happened, when she signed her contracts and everything else, because mind you have to think the pre-production aspect of things. How much time went into making this movie, and then principal photography when they start shooting. And when did Disney Plus officially really launch? Now, I don't know the dates of when Disney Plus launched, but I know that it was late enough in the game to where if they were already doing pre-production and the contracts were signed for Scarlett Johansson, then, that's what it is. And so then since they actually had all this stuff signed, I guess she could have gone back and renegotiated the contract, but Disney isn't exactly known for being team players, I guess, unless they really need to, unless it's a flagship actor, like what they did with Robert Downey Jr. to get him to continuously reprise his role of Iron Man after he was exhausted of doing it. Because I think, didn't they throw $50 million at him one time to get him to come back as Iron Man?
No, I have no idea. I just know that he always seemed ready and willing to go to work to do this particular role. Scarlett Johansson, on the other hand, it's a weird caveat to the story because, I'm going to go ahead and throw this here. For Endgame.
Spoilers.
She dies. Black Widow dies in Endgame. And the Black Widow movie is a prequel. So.
Yep. Amber, welcome to the show. You're right, it won't mean a damn thing.
So. It's not exactly like her presence in the MCU was going to be needed much longer anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, and it still confuses me going back and watching Infinity War. I'm always confused by that. I know that that's a long fall to throw Gamora off that cliff. I get that it's a long fall. But do you think she would have survived if she just dropped and rolled out of that fall?
Yes.
I mean, in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, when they were blowing up Ego and everything like that, she jumps from it had to be a cliff-sized distance, right? She falls she falls back. It's not like she jumps up; she falls backwards, and she just lands perfectly on her feet and just boom, and just stands right back up. Then why did that fall off the cliff, killer?
Movie magic.
It's. I remember seeing that in the theater. Then I pissed off someone because oh, okay, so that's going to kill her, but not falling from the middle of the core of a planet, a couple hundred feet, and sticking or landing on her feet without even having the oh my god, my shins look on her face. But yeah, like I said, movie magic, and because plot reasons.
Yeah,
so.
Of course.
Anyway, but yeah, so as you said, spoilers, Black Widow dies. So this is obviously a movie that was made leading up to the events of, I believe, Infinity War. I think it was between the time of Civil War and Infinity War, right?
Something like that, yeah.
So I haven't watched it yet. So she can't get mad at me.
So here's the thing about this whole situation, right? People are, as always these days, divided about what exactly should be done about this situation. You got a lot of people that thinks that Scarlett Johansson's just doing it because she's greedy. Okay. There are other people doing it because they say that she doesn't care about the people that are affected by COVID.
Yep.
Okay. Sure. Whatever you want to believe, right? But there are also other people out there that, and I'm going to go ahead and say I'm on this team. I say, ScarJo, get your money. Because...
Well, no, it's like, I agree with you. Like, I mean, if it's a contract that was not honored, I get why it was not honored. I get it. COVID and profits and yada, 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 yada. That's fine. I get why it wasn't honored. But if you're not going to honor it, then I would look at that as you should be obligated to speak with the actress or whoever is in the contract and say, hey, we cannot honor this, so let's go ahead and make an adjustment here. So let's give you the smaller percentage of the box office, but also toss in the remaining difference of that percentage into the Disney Plus aspects of things. So we have another comment. Let's see. Amber Flores, no profit from merch because of the Disney release. Absolutely right. But I mean, it's like, and even then, to be honest, female characters in movies are usually not treated too fairly in like merchandising. And Disney's no exception to the rule there. Black Widow, I don't even think that she had an action figure for, oh God, years. And I think they put her on a motorcycle, but I forget what they labeled her, but it wasn't Black Widow. I forget what it was. It's it reminds me of Rey Skywalker.
Was it Natasha McHotpants?
Huh?
Was it Natasha McHotpants?
I mean, it wouldn't be wrong. I mean, a little objectifying, but it's very accurate
hey, I'm
description
just
there.
wondering how they would, market it.
No. I'm good with it. No, she is fine as hell, and she's got those curves, man. Trust me, I remember just seeing her in that cat suit for the first time in Iron Man 2. I'm like, damn. Like, I knew she looked good in like that blouse and the dress, like, meeting up with Tony and all that, and getting that signature in the thumbprint. But seeing her in the Black Widow costume, damn. Like, my jaw dropped. I looked over at the my buddy's girlfriend and everything else, and I told her that she needs to be Black Widow for Halloween. So, only if they had big. Amber says only if they had big tits. Well, I mean, let's face it. Scarlett Johansson isn't exactly like a small bosom there. She's a little chesty. I don't know her bra size, but it's definitely not an A cup. But she still didn't have, and even, she still didn't have like much of an action figure. And even actresses that had been turned into action figures that are chesty are not given the chestiness in the action figures. I don't know if that's like a mold issue or what, but it's just like, my whole point is that women in general just don't really get the fair treatment that male actors get when it comes to being turned into action figures. I assume that means that's because these studios think that guys won't buy female action figures. I'll tell you right now, I remember being a kid playing with April O'Neil, my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that's quite a bit. So...
unless some of these young fellas and young ladies are very progressive for the times, you kind of need a multitude of different action figures to go with it, and so there's no reason to not have a Black Widow action figure with all your others. Anyway, we are straying way off topic here.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, even coming off of Scarlett Johansson and her lawsuit, it's not uncommon in Hollywood. It's nothing new in Hollywood for actors to be, I guess, to feel disrespected by their film studios to the point where they're going to file a lawsuit against them. It has happened multiple times. I was just telling Josh earlier about like a situation involving Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Where he had guest starred in a film, and like when I say guest star, I mean like a very, very small role in this film for his brother. And the studio, when they released it, they sold it on the fact that Sylvester Stallone was the star in the film, to which Sylvester Stallone went back and sued the hell out of the studio. And it happens quite a bit. Billy Crystal's been involved with a lawsuit in the studio. Sharon Stone was involved in a lawsuit, I think, over Basic Instinct 2, because it got pushed back so many times, which cost her money from other roles that she had to turn down, that she was already, that she had secured. So they kept like canceling and like delaying it, and then she ended up having to sue them. And thankfully, she finally got Basic Instinct 2, which won her, the #1 Razzie, I think, in the entire award ceremony. So, I mean, but it happens a lot. So what it comes down to is you see people that say like, oh, boo-hoo, all of her millions of dollars she already has. Like, it's not the point. It is a business. Acting is very much a career, and it's part of an industry which is a thriving business, and it has been thriving for over a century now.
Yeah.
And just like everything that's happened over a century, you have the big wigs, the big cats, the fat cats up on top that make these rules that are made to suit them. And if they rewrite these rules, or if they don't uphold their end of the bargain, people have to ask themselves, what would you do? Yeah, she's a multi-millionaire, internationally famous actress. She's not hurting financially at all. She's very well off. But with that being the case, put yourself in her shoes. Homegirl got screwed over by Mickey Mouse here. Like, I'd see those little gold buttons right off of his red trousers myself. Like, I mean, I make it to where him, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy, and Goofy, and Max, and all of them are walking down the street naked as hell because I sued them out of all their clothes. Like, you didn't abide by a contract. Any company that does that should be held, responsible. They should be held accountable. I like seeing it when people like go after these companies. And the fact that Disney went back and released a statement saying that it's sad that she's suing them, like, well, no, it's sad that you kind of screwed her.
Now, I think what's really sad is that Disney has made a statement using COVID as an excuse to not
make money,
honor their contract with the talent. Because
absolutely,
whether or not COVID existed, that contract was in place.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
The reason why people have contracts is to make sure that certain terms are agreed upon and then enforced legally, binding by the signatures and the notaries, and then it's a whole ordeal to get contracts taken care of, right?
Yes.
And let's not forget that, especially in Disney's case, who will no doubt have an army of lawyers, which they had an army of lawyers to get the contract written in the first place. So they already had the idea that this was a good deal, a good contract, because if it wasn't, the contract never would have existed in the first place. So both Disney and Scarlett Johansson entered into this agreement on good faith, and it seems Disney has gone back on that good faith and made alternative arrangements to the release of the movie Black Widow. And again, to address people's criticisms of, oh, she has plenty of money. The thing to really keep in mind during all this is, yes, more often than not, people will not be likely to sue, especially actors, because most of the time, the people getting screwed aren't the ones with the clout to do anything about it.
Absolutely.
But Scarlett Johansson is a household name. She was a 2-time Academy Award nominee in the same year.
Yeah.
So she's got the status to bring the fire. And what this lawsuit should hope to do is to further prevent more situations like this from arising. Although, if anybody negotiating a contract worth a damn is thinking about doing so without things like health issues and emergencies being written into the contract, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, or if they're not putting in different language for what the options are for streaming and what a talent's percentage of the streaming gate should be, then they really should. Right now is the time to do it, because many years ago, what was it, the Writers Guild?
Yeah.
Were really upset, to say the least, that their work,
oh God,
that they're getting paid for,
yeah,
wasn't it streaming wasn't covered. They weren't getting paid for anything streaming, so that had to be negotiated with the union. And now, once again, streaming has become an issue when it comes to box office, and something has to be entered into these contracts that says, by the way, if we're going to do day and date, this is what you get. If we're going to do a 30-day window, this is what you get. Maybe have it all there as a just in case, rather than, okay, this is it locked down. Because as we've seen, just because something's supposed to be locked down, especially as far as release dates go, things can happen. Life happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Amber's absolutely right. It's her money.
And she also said Judge Judy. I agree with her. I would love to see Judge Judy preside over that one. I would die to see Judge Judy. But no, the thing is, it's what it comes down to. It is all it is very much her money. It's her livelihood, and the fact that Disney is, it is one of those things that I told you before, I had this conversation with someone at my job who was quitting, and she said that she was going to give her 2 weeks notice, and I told her that I had my own experience with this, where I went to go quit a job and they told me I had to give 2 weeks notice. And I told them that is nothing more than a one-sided expectation that I would never get in return if I were fired. Disney, for a fact, the same way, it goes any place that has power, the big companies. How many times do you think that they would actually file any kind of charges against an actor who did not abide by their contract, who just reneged very last second? Yeah, I don't think they'd be very appreciative. Disney tried to muscle their way into Sony with the whole property of Spider-Man. Sony wasn't having it, and Disney was a little butthurt over that one. But then they expect, someone like Scarlett Johansson to just take it when they very obviously just screwed her over. And I don't think that they were expecting her to come. I don't think they were expecting it to become a public thing. I don't think they were expecting her to have the balls to sue them. I don't think Disney's used to that. I think the last time Disney absolutely shut themselves. Sorry, helicopter. LA, baby. So please tell me he's not going to start circling.
They're looking for you.
No, it's just like that's just a common. It was a common thing in LA that once you see a police helicopter out here, they're going to circle for about 5 hours. But no, so the whole thing with Disney, I don't think they were expecting her to actually stand up to them. Again, last time that they were really afraid of someone on any legal, or I guess intimidated by somebody, was Don Bluth. Was that his name?
Mm-hmm.
The guy that wrote and directed American Tail, Thumbelina, Anastasia, all that. That's the last time they were really worried about something, because that guy was their competition. I think one of his films, it wasn't Ferngully, because I know one of his films actually outperformed The Great Mouse Detective, or almost outperformed The Great Mouse Detective, and actually scared Disney. I forget exactly what the story was, so don't quote me on it. But I know that they were actually a little concerned about him. So now that this has come along with Scarlett Johansson actually taking their asses to court, I don't think that they were expecting that to ever come to play. You know, you don't mess with Walt Disney Company. Like they have their hands in everything. They're a big company. Like, I mean, they're huge. So
they are very big.
But yeah. So like I think like now with the blowback coming back from that, and it hitting the news, you had Disney saying stuff like, "Oh, we're so sad that this is happening, and it's unfortunate." It's like, well, I'm hearing a lot of it's sad and it's unfortunate, but I'm not hearing a whole lot of "I'm sorry." So,
you know, because COVID is a thing that happened, I think it would have been just as easy to, I don't know, maybe call her up and say, "Hey, Scarlett. Oh, Colin, it's you. Is Scarlett home? Yeah, can we talk? It's Disney. Can we talk to her?"
I like how you actually play this whole conversation out in your head.
It's the only way to do it, bro. Okay, so yeah, we'll hang on a second. Okay, Scarlett, hey, it's Disney here. We ran into a little snag with the release date of Black. Yeah, I know. We pushed it back. We were hoping that this whole COVID thing would be done, by now. I mean, after all, the messages from the government were saying that it would be done real quick. Yeah, I know that wasn't from the CDC, but just hear us out, okay? We're hoping that possibly soon we can release it. Yes, the theaters are closed, but we have a timeline of when vaccinations are coming out, and we'll be able to open theaters. So what we're hoping to do is for those that want to go see it in the theater, we want to be able to release it, right? And for those that don't feel it's safe to go to the theaters, then we want to be able to release it on Disney Plus. Yeah. We'll have to talk about, the ticket sales and this extra streams, but we can get together, whether it's on the phone or through Zoom or in person, if that's what you're comfortable with. We can do all this. We can get the numbers right, but we just want to make sure that we open this door for us to start this conversation, because we would kind of be douchebags to just go ahead and do it without, really talking about how the numbers work. So is that good? Okay, yeah, we'll set something up. We'll get everything worked out before anything progresses any further than this. All right. Have a good day, Scarlett, and tell Colin he's a bit loud in the background. Just keep it professional. All right, bye. And see.
Oh my God! You taking that one-man show to Broadway?
Yeah. What is it, your first day? This is what I'm known for.
Lord. Josh's one-man show.
Wait till I get to my
Live on Broadway. I'm telling you, you need to go get yourself a theater space in Florida somewhere. Like, give us like a small community one, and Tyler Perry that shit. Just make it a one-man show, though. Make it a one-man show about how things should go down.
Okay.
But it doesn't count.
Okay.
It doesn't count if you. It does not count if you do not have like the half man, half woman suit for the Scarlett Johansson thing. Like, you have to like turn this way and then turn this way, and there better be boobies and booty. Like, you have to have like the hourglass figure on one side, and then you have to have like just like you're fine like however you are, like on the other side. We're dudes, like just whatever. But
start working out like half of my body.
I think I'm onto something here, man.
It could be fun. I could stream it.
God.
That'd be
My Lord.
Imagine going to an open mic and someone does that. Like, just a one-man show. You have 5 minutes. I'm going to need at least 80.
It's a full show.
I brought all these props and costumes.
Well, listen, Andy Kaufman read the entire Great Gatsby to a bunch of people in the theater, so I think you'll be fine.
And like Andy Kaufman, I would be doing it mostly to amuse myself.
Well, I think, didn't he do that to punish them? I'm pretty sure he did that to punish them.
I'm not sure exactly what the story is behind that, but he just so happened to have a copy of The Great Gatsby nearby.
I know it's something they were being disrespectful, and they were expecting him to do like the Latka thing from what's it called?
Taxi.
It's on the tip of my tongue. That's it. Yes. And then I think he started reading that, and they thought he was joking. Then he just kept going. Oh God, that man was brilliant. Him and George Carlin are two people that Robin Williams are all people that should still be here, and there are other people that should not be.
Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder should also still be here.
Yes.
So many.
Well, Richard Pryor at least lived a good life, and I will say this: George Carlin also lived a good long life. But yeah, there's.
I was able to see him live before he passed. I was able to see George Carlin perform live.
Oh yeah, I did too. It's like I love the fact that I got to see him perform live. But no, so like when it comes to these lawsuits, though, there's only a handful that I've read about, and without being able to look it up, I can't recall them exactly. But there were a few that I read that were like just whatever. But most of the time, they are within reason. It's there is a forget what movie it was, but there was a movie that had, and it's happened a few times where movies have actors for brief little scenes, and then they sell these movies on the fact that these actors are in them, but they treat it like these actors are center stage when they're not. So I know one of them had something to do with Jesse Eisenberg back when he was still getting started. Mm-hmm. And you see his DVD box. I forget the name of the movie, but he is the big picture on the DVD box. He's in the movie for 3 minutes. But they're like, oh, Jesse Eisenberg was in this. Like, oh, okay. Cool.
I've never heard anybody say those words before in my life.
Yeah, it's oh, that's cool. Jesse Eisenberg's in this movie. That's great because he's, he's cool.
By the way, if somebody out there could go ahead and capture the audio of Brandon saying the words, Jesse Eisenberg's in this, I would really like you to send that to me.
Oh, nope.
Because it's going to be my ringtone.
Sorry about that, guys. No, but yeah. So that's the thing, though. It's everything that's happening with this, I fully support it. I think it definitely needs to happen. It should have happened a lot sooner than this. The very sad, I'm sure it did happen. Just made the news. I'm sure it did happen in the way that once she found out that it was on premium access on Disney Plus, that she probably, got a little mad. I wouldn't blame her.
You know what? If I just had to guess, this is my pure speculation here, but I think once she found out that Black Widow was also going to be streaming at the same time as the theatrical release, my gut tells me that she was completely fine with it. And that's when she made a phone call to Disney and was like, so how is this going to work now since you're going to be doing that? And then when Disney's like,
yep, Andy, get in.
No,
I'm sorry. Inside, dude.
here.
Come on.
Nothing's going to change here. And that's when she got upset. When, she's basically told, nah. Because I think I can honestly say that when Scarlett Johansson found out about Black Widow being released, especially with the whole COVID thing going on, she was probably very, supportive of making sure that people like you and people like me are absolutely safe when we go to the movies.
Absolutely.
And I
like how you muted my mic.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. Again, everyone, I'm sorry about that. Like, got someone coming over, so I've got the gate wide open, and I opened the door, and Indiana just made a run for it, my dog. So, I like him enough to not want him to get hit by a car. So. But no, go ahead, Josh. I'm listening to you, buddy.
Just at the end of the day, I think this is not necessarily a lawsuit brought upon by dollars and cents. I think the more important issue here is the principle of the whole deal being able to not only renegotiate but talk about your contracts when certain situations beyond anybody's control arise. There should be room for negotiation after the fact. But and from what I've read, it was Scarlett Johansson that was trying to get everybody to the table to take a look at how things are supposed to be, and was subsequently denied the meetings. I mean, what can I say? I mean, honestly, okay, being a devil's advocate here, there is a possibility that Disney did try to do something, and at some point it's probably going to come out because that's what they have to defend themselves with in court.
Yeah.
But until that happens, all we have is what we've seen so far, which is Scarlett Johansson was promised in writing that she would get a certain thing, and because of COVID, that thing was diminished.
Yep.
But does that mean that thing is not owed to her anymore? No. No, it doesn't. But to say that this is all about money is probably a little preposterous. Because
no, I mean, it's like
you said before, she's well off.
Yeah. It's just really people that just don't really think that often, if ever, are the ones that jump to those conclusions. I mean, I'm one of those people that disagrees with how much professional sports players make. I think it's way too much, but at the same time, if something were to breach their contract, that is a legal binding document that has been breached. Like, they are well within the rights to go get what they're owed. So why are you staring at me like that?
Are you talking
You're
to me?
Squinting at me. Huh?
Are you talking to me or your dog?
You.
Okay. No.
You're looking at me like, once I said the whole sports thing, you're like, huh? Like, watch your mouth, you whore. Come on.
Oh, yeah, because I'm a huge sports fan.
You're a huge WWE fan.
Yeah, that's true. But what you made me think of was... By the way, that does remind me. Fantasy football season is starting soon, and Semicore Studios will once again have a fantasy football league. So everybody's welcome to join. So anyway, what I was saying is that the idea that athletes aren't worth the money they're getting paid, and automatically my mind processes, team revenue and blah, 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 blah. But then it jumped to 3 steps later. How much are actors worth?
I mean, I think that's honestly, I think just like the money that goes into any kind of motion picture like that, I think it is insane. Like, because you have companies that spend tens of millions, or God, even like sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars to crank out sometimes just really crappy films. They're very expensive pieces of crap. But then you have people, and we talk about it a lot. Justin, if you watch this, I promise we're not kissing your ass here, buddy. Relish was made for a very modest budget and filmed inside of a week, and it had so much more substance to it than anything that you'd really see in the theaters. It was actually very well made. There's other movies like that too. But it's just like, it's one of those deals where I don't think that to act in a feature film, I cannot imagine how anyone is, God, how anyone spends that much money on an actor for a feature film. Now, I get it, they're famous and everything else, but come on.
Hold on, no, let's put a pin in this.
Well, we got 5 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. We have 5 minutes. You have a hard out time, so this is not something we can really get into. But how about episode 59? We talk about the value of actors versus what they get paid.
Yeah, like Shia LaBeouf, overrated. Too much.
And I'm pretty sure we can get a pretty comprehensive list of actors in there, salaries.
I can think of like 20 right now.
So that is...
Betty White.
Stop it. Stop it. And we can also heap some praise onto some people that will... how would you say it? Slash their rates to be in a project that they... And when we talked to Scott Christian Sava about Animal Crackers, we heard the stories of everybody agreeing to do it for like base pay because they love the story.
Yeah, they love the story, and also other actors are signing on. They want to work with those actors, and so yeah. Or John Krasinski and Emily Blunt.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Emily Blunt? Is that her name?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. So it's like, it's like, oh, hey, honey, you want to be in this? Okay. Like, but I do have to get going, guys. I have to be at work early tonight. But yeah, find me on Instagram, bjackman82, the WADcast Instagram. I got to go. Josh, play us out. Or
Alrighty.
just, hang out with everybody. But I got to go. Love you. Mwah. Kisses.
Love you. All right, so Brandon's out of here, and that brings us to where we are now. By the way, in a bit of an update from the story that we've been talking about throughout the episode, it's already been known that John Krasinski is, talking about these same things when it comes to, what was it, A Quiet Place 2? Yeah, Josh, that's it. Brandon shouldn't have left yet. And now, as we were doing the show, I saw an article saying that Emma Stone is now also considering legal action against Disney for the release of Cruella. And you know what? We'll see what happens, and we'll keep you updated right here on the WADcast. In the meantime, I guess it's time for them final thoughts. Now, I don't have, sorry, audio podcast listeners, I don't have the music ready to go. I did some file cleaning, and nothing is in the right place anymore. And the only reason you were able to hear the intro is because of the opening credits that now play when we go live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube simultaneously every week, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. this is the WADcast. So, final thoughts. Okay. Just remember, boys and girls, that the only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. That's right. You need to go ahead and get started doing things that you love. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, people. If we've learned anything over the last year and a half, it should be that you never know what's going to happen. So if one day it's your day and you have a chance, you have a moment to look back at your life and say, man, I wish I would have done, you know what? Now's the time to do it. If you want to make a film, make a film. If you want to make a song, make a song. If you want to do any type of creation, the only thing to do is just do it. Nobody can make you, man. You got to want to, and then you got to do it. All right. This has been the WADcast episode number 58. I am Josh. As you can tell right there at the bottom left of the screen, you can find me at ScarJo. You can find Semicore Studios at Semicore Studios on Twitter, and you can find the WADcast on Twitter at WADcastPod. Don't forget the Facebook pages. That's right, we're on Facebook. And hit the like button on the WADcast and Semicore Studios. Also, if you're listening to this on a delayed basis via all of your favorite audio thingies, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, especially if you have the ability to do so in things like iTunes and blah, blah, blah. That way, when people go to look for a show about what we do, they'll look at us and see us and, you know, go, hey, people like these guys. I wonder if I should listen to them too. The answer is yes. Yes, you should. I guess, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and throw this up here on the old screen. It's tpublic.com/user/Semicore. That is the official merchandising shop for Semicore Studios and all of your WADcast gear. If you're seeing one of the live feeds, or if you're just watching the video on a delayed basis, you see the WADcast shirt. That's right. Another WADcast shirt. One of the many things you can find at the store listed at the bottom of the screen. And I guess I've run out of buttons to press. Well, until next week, until I find more buttons, I hope you all enjoyed the show tonight, and we will see you next week. Yeah, I'm kind of blindly searching for that end button so I don't have to stop looking at the camera, because I don't like it when people look away at the very last second. It seems very weird. So